Hey, good evening, and welcome to the Uptown Parlay Podcast. Now, your host, Ace.
All right.
Sure.
Welcome to the Uptown Parlay Podcast. We got Ace Ant Malik.
What's up? What's up?
What's
What's
up?
up, man?
What up?
Coming to you with a special Thanksgiving episode. How's everybody doing today?
Finding a small bit of time and availability to get this done so we can all get to our Thanksgiving festivities. So I'm thankful for this opportunity to get this show in because tonight it wouldn't happen later on.
Big facts. I'm thankful for that as well. And I got to get out to several stores after this. But let's get right into it, Malik.
Oh, what about me?
Oh, Ant, I'm sorry. I
I
forgot you.
just
I thought you froze. I didn't see you moving. My bad.
no. I'm just gonna say that I'm just recovering and stuff. Like a recovering alcoholic. I'm recovering football alcoholic right now. I'm actually getting back into football again. Had a bye week. I don't know if you heard my team lost 51-3 on the bye week.
I mean, you should be happy. Yeah, the Jets. I mean, the Giants took the headline away from the Jets
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
last week
You
while
heard
you guys were on break.
you saw the news that happened today on Wednesday,
Yeah.
the day before Thanksgiving with Daniel Jones.
Yep.
Isn't that amazing?
Yes, he decided to complete the Brett Favre cycle for Aaron Rodgers and went to Minnesota.
The reverse Favre. He cleared waivers, though.
Yeah, he cleared waivers and then he decided to sign there. I was hoping that he would do what the people out on social media wanted him to do, to sign with the Dallas Cowboys. That would have been awesome to see him, to face against his Giants on Thanksgiving, his former team. That would have been
That would
awesome.
have been hilarious. Have him see go out there, shake Daboll's hand after they win. Oh, I love it.
Oh, what's the
Go
name might not play though? The Italian might not play for the Giants. I heard that
He's
he's a little
hurt?
bit hurt.
Yeah, he
I
is
heard.
hurt. He did get hurt. Locke is gonna play. I believe Locke
That's
is
a
gonna
shame.
start, which should have happened already because
So the tankathon is not on still.
Tommy Cutlet shouldn't have been out there to begin with. I'm just saying.
Danny DeVito's cousin, man. Show some respect.
Look, and he should be doing Jersey Mike commercials just like his cousin. That's where he's best suited.
Great sandwiches. I had them for lunch today.
Oh,
They have Jersey
but
Mike's.
you're a Jollibee.
I always
You're a Jollibee man.
I always thought to myself like Jersey Mike's
Jollibee?
being anywhere but like not in Jersey. Yeah, it just
They got
sounds
him up here in Massachusetts.
weird.
It is weird, but it tastes the same. It tastes good. That's the only way I could actually get, as a former New Yorker, that's the only way I can actually get something close to called a bodega hero. It's Jersey Mike's.
Yeah. Wow. That's true.
It's a sad day.
Oh yeah, they still got them up in there in what's the name? What is it? Irish Town? That's what Massachusetts is usually called.
Got Italian
Irish
sub
is-
shops up
it's-
here. You just got to go to like the North End and stuff.
No, bring back Blimpy. All right, let's go ahead and jump in. Yep. Thanksgiving special. We got a triple header of games for Thanksgiving, starting off with Aces Chicago Bears versus my Detroit Lions. The Lions right now, all lines are coming from FanDuel Sportsbook, so your lines may be a little bit different, but it usually tends to hover between 1 and 1.5 points difference across lines. But check your lines for more accurate readings for your bets. But going to FanDuel Sportsbook, Bears at Lions. Lions are favored by 9.5 points. The over-under here is 48.5. The Bears are coming off of a home loss against the Minnesota Vikings in a heartbreaking overtime fashion. They came back from, I think they were around 12 points towards the end of that game, came all the way back,
Correct.
hated the game, put it in overtime, and not for nothing, nobody's talking about it, but they absolutely did wet the bed because they got the ball first.
What?
They got the ball first in overtime, went 3,
How dare you?
had a holding penalty on first down, and completely
Yeah.
destroyed the opportunity to score points, and then wound up giving it back and lost the game by 3 in overtime. So yeah, Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
that's called wet the bed.
That's wetting the bed. You got the ball. You tied the game up. You got the ball. Had an opportunity to score. Did not do anything. 3 and out. Punted back, and then you lose. So
I feel like I'm talking to everybody from Get Up. What is going on? Crap on the bed.
meanwhile, the Lions won their 9th straight game against in Indianapolis against the Colts, and are
First
looking
time
to
since
make
the
it.
Great Depression.
First time they've been 10-1 since 1934. And that's not, yeah, it's hilarious, but it's true.
Since Babe Ruth was pitching.
And they're looking to make it 10 straight this week in a divisional game against the Bears. So Ace, I'm going to start with you here. I know we're the home team, but I'll start with you. Bears at 9.5.
This is going to be easy. As you informed me, the Detroit Lions have not won on Thanksgiving in 7 years. Even when the Bears have been bad, they've beaten them, which was 2018 and 2019. So I'm going to ride that streak. You're going to be, I think you guys are 10-1, 9-1. You're going to be 9-2.
10-1 right now.
All right, you're going to be 10-2 after this week, much like Texas after they lose to Texas A&M. It's rivalry week, Thanksgiving week, so therefore the Bears are going to get this dub. Caleb Williams is showing why he was the number 1 overall pick. He was making some crazy throws last week. I like this offensive coordinator. He's giving him opportunities of breaking it down. A couple of drop passes, but they're going to clean that up. But yeah, I'm taking the Bears, and I'm going to take those 7 points.
And
7.5, right?
Well, not 9.5. 9.5.
Yeah, everybody thinks y'all are going to kick crap out of us, but you're not. So I just have to hope that the offensive line doesn't just get destroyed. That's basically it.
And
yeah, how the Lions are constructed and how the Bears are constructed and how this is at the Lions' home field. The Lions are gonna kick the Bears' ass. I'm going with the Lions in this, and I'm taking the over in this one. I don't trust the Bears at all, and I'm going to make this my first lock of the week. I don't care what the history says or whatever. I'm going by the history of this year. The Lions are kicking everybody's ass, and they're going to kick the Bears' ass. The Bears is not. They might be quite in the same division, but they're not in the same league.
We literally are. We literally are.
No,
Ace,
not according to talent.
Ace, were you locking the Bears?
No, I wasn't.
Okay.
You know what? I will now.
Lock them in.
I will. I will now. Yes.
Yeah, lock them in.
All right.
Let's go.
Dueling locks on that side. You guys know I'm taking the Lions as well. I won't lock it in because I don't like.
Come on, Malik. Triple lock. Triple lock. Triple lock. Triple lock. Come on. This is the game of the week.
I appreciate my locks. I may come back and lock this one later if I really feel good about it.
Special lock of the week. We put a special extra lock of the week and then make this a lock. And we're that's what I propose for this week. So since Thanksgiving week, this will be a special lock that we all have to lock in, and the rest of the stuff we can just lock in on normal locks.
Okay.
I agree.
All right, then that's fine. I'll lock in the Lions.
Special lock.
It'll be a triple lock. Triple lock.
Let's go.
Yeah. The only thing with the quick explanation, I mean, the Lions are, as Ace mentioned, the Lions have lost 7 straight games, Thanksgiving games, dating back to now 2017. So they don't have a great history in this game, which probably means that this is going to be as important a game to them as any game. The fact that it's a divisional game, the fact that we haven't played the Bears yet this season, so the opportunity to continue to make to build some space in between us and the rest of the division, and the fact that Minnesota and Green Bay keep on winning. So winning this game is important for the Lions to continue to keep things rolling and trending toward that number 1 seed. You're right, Ace. Caleb has been really good over the past 2 to 3 weeks. He's been playing some really good ball. But the one player that I think that the one player that I'm very interested in seeing the matchup here is former Detroit Lions running back DeAndre Swift. I believe that the one thing that's been pretty consistent for you guys over the last couple of weeks is your ability to run the football, take a little bit of pressure off of Caleb. DeAndre Swift has been good in those situations over the last couple of weeks. We know DeAndre Swift very well, and not just we. Dan Campbell, Aaron Glenn, that defense, Ali McNeil, Those guys up front, they know DeAndre Swift very well. If we can keep him to the ground and prevent you guys from running the football effectively, that's how we're going to control the game, control clock. So I'm going to take Detroit and I'll lock it in as well. But I think that there's a slight chance of there's a very good chance of a backdoor cover here, and a slight chance of a Chicago pullout victory. So, yeah.
Hey, yo.
Pause
All
and
right.
no
No,
diddy.
nothing. Next game. I just said hey, yo, at the end because how you ended that.
All right. Giants at Cowboys. Cowboys are favored by 3 points over the Giants here. This is the Drew Lock game, as you might have heard us talking before we actually started to got in there actually recording. Tommy DeVito is 1 game and done. The Giants are turning now to Drew Lock to right the ship here for them. The Giants are in disarray. The Giants have lost now, I believe, 4 straight. No, 6 straight. The Giants have lost 6 straight coming into this game, and the Cowboys are coming off of probably their best win of the season. So looking at the way that this team is running, the way that both of these teams are running, this looks like a game that's going to be really good for you to have eaten and then getting some sleep in here while you wait for the Packers and Dolphins game to kick off at 8:00. So Giants and Cowboys. Ant, who you got?
Wish I don't have any one of these things. Both of these teams need a running back. Somebody named Saquon Barkley was available. But according to Giants could definitely use a guy named Daniel Jones, even though he kind of sucks. But I'm gonna go with the Cowboys on this one. They got the better team, if you want to say. They are quite at home, Jerry World and stuff like that. Whatever. I'm gonna take the Giants. I'm gonna take the Cowboys. See, that's how much I care. I'm gonna take the Cowboys. I'm gonna go with the over in this one. These teams like to score, quite tend to score a lot for some strange reason, but they don't really get anywhere. But I'm not going to make this a lock. I don't really care about this game. If it wasn't for tradition, I wouldn't be surprised the NFL would have implemented what's the name, flex games for these Thanksgiving games. But anyway, I'm going to take the Cowboys and I'm going to take the over.
Yeah, and I agree with you. It's funny how, like, for years, and especially for the last over the last 10 years, everybody was trying to flex out the Lions game, and now they're trying to flex out the Cowboys game, and everybody wants to see the Lions play. It's hilarious. Ace, over to you.
I would say you got to go with the Cowboys here. They're playing so much better than the Giants, and the Giants have just been pretty trash over the past couple of weeks with Jones, without him. Devin Singletary came back. He lost his job. Tyrone Tracy. He's been the bright spot on the Giants. Malik Neighbors, they keep saying they're going to try to get him the ball. Script it up. Get the man the damn ball. You know what I'm saying? Maybe Drew Lock is a little bit better. Maybe we'll see why he was third string after DeVito. They think they're trying to tank, but I don't know. But I'm going with the Cowboys, and I think they're going to beat the brakes off of them. They got 2 really fast receivers, and they can just run a couple of fly routes and score right there. So I'm gonna take the Cowboys, and I'm gonna take the
I'm gonna take the Cowboys here as well. I think that this is, like I said, I think this is a pretty boring game. The difference is, man, I lean Giants just because the Cowboys still can't run the football. Like, the Cowboys cannot run the ball, and that's still going to be a problem for them. And I feel like
finds the fountain of youth this game.
I think
100 yards,
I think the best play here is the squeaky wheel game for Malik Neighbors. We heard him complaining about not getting the football until late in the game when it was already 30-0.
You think he's a vet right now, the way he was complaining?
Like, I think we're getting the squeaky wheel game. Drew Lock will be in there, and he's going to be peppering his rookie star receiver. So I think whatever the over under is on receptions or targets, either on Prize Picks or one of your props, I would say get in on that. I'll take the Cowboys to win the game at home against the Giants. Like they said, the Cowboys have been playing somewhat better. Cooper Rush is, I won't say he's better than Dak Prescott, but he's clearly familiar with the offense, the way the system is run, and he doesn't make a lot of mistakes out there. So, he keeps things relatively sane. And this is a defensive game, in my opinion. This is a game where the Cowboys will have to play good. Their defense should run things here and get the ball back to the Cowboys offense for them to make some plays. So that because of that, and I'm playing the under on this one, but I am playing those. I would be locking in those Malik Neighbors targets. I think that's going to be definitely
Over 7.5.
Wait,
yeah.
I got 37 and a half as the over and under. That's still the case?
Yeah, 37.5 is the over under.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
going to be in the 40s. You're right.
I'm still keeping my over on this one.
I'm playing the under. I don't think this hits. I think this is like a 20-13 game. Easily.
That would be awful. That would genuinely
that sounds like that
to do that with better.
That doesn't sound like an NFC East game. You know,
It
the
doesn't.
NFC East.
These are barely NFC East teams. So let's see.
Wow.
NFC
All right.
East.
The night game, Thursday night football, Dolphins at Packers. The Packers are favored by 3.5 over the Miami Dolphins. And this is an important game for both teams. Miami has won, and I think now they won 2 or 3 straight. Yeah, 3 straight. En route to getting themselves back into the playoff picture. The Dolphins are looking to try to get themselves back in there and make some noise. But they're also looking to prove something. They have to prove to themselves and the rest of the world that they can play in outdoor weather in late November, early December. Tua is currently, if I'm not mistaken, I believe 0-4, or, something along those lines. He hasn't won in the cold weather. So that's this game is looking like it's going to be 27 degrees with 10 mile per hour winds. And a slight chance of rain. No snow in the forecast, but that seems to be more than enough to derail that fast-paced offense of the Dolphins. So Dolphins 3.5 point underdogs here, and the Packers need this win to keep pace with the Lions. Ace, who do you got?
I got the Dolphins, and I'm locking them in. I think this is going to be Tua's first victory in cold weather. I don't believe in Green Bay. They barely got by the Bears. They're not a good team, and the Dolphins' defense is actually playing much better than ours. And Tua, that offense is just so much better, and they've been able to run the ball so easily. So I'm looking to Devin Achane to tear him up. Jair Alexander's still out, so they don't really have anybody to go one-on-one with Tyreek Hill. They're gonna have to double him, which is gonna leave Jonnu Smith open. So take add him to your daily fantasy lineup if you like him. He's doing pretty well over the past couple of weeks. I think he has like 5 touchdowns over the past like 3 or 4 games. So look to that. So yeah, they're gonna be crushing. Give me the Dolphins. Fins up.
And
I have a different take on that. The Bears are in the same division, so I can see the reason why the struggle of the game was. But the Green Bay Packers have one thing that might be something that's basically gonna, how should I put it? There's kryptonite for the Dolphins in somewhat. The man's name is Robert Saleh. He's actually on that team. He knows that, and just being that the Jets' former head coach, he actually knows that division and knows the Dolphins very well from playing them. So he will have some type of plan, some type of game plan that he can, give out to this to the Packers on this one. So I'm going to go the opposite way. What?
He didn't help. It didn't help him when he was on the Jets.
Well, whatever. It didn't help one of these Jets, but he could just give that information. I'm just saying give information. I'm not saying coach them. I'm saying he can just give that information from what he has. For informational purposes only, I'm going to make this my first lock of the week, and I'm going to go with the Packers, and I'm taking the under in this one.
All right, and locking in the Packers. I'm going to take the Dolphins here. I think there's I think the trend that you guys heard me at least in the last 2 games is about running the football. The Dolphins don't seem to have the ability to do that, and the Josh Jacobs has the ability to run the football pretty well. And I think he's third in the league, third in the NFL in rushing at this point. I don't think the Dolphins win out, but I do think they cover the number here. The Packers have been playing games pretty close to the vest over the last 5 weeks. They're 1-4 in their last 5 against the spread. And they just haven't looked very good in any of those games, with the exception of that game last week against the San Francisco team that's just completely banged up. Meanwhile, the Dolphins have won. They've covered 4 of their last 5 games. Even in that loss to Buffalo, they covered the 6-point spread there in Buffalo. So they've already proven to me, at least to me, that they can play in, not the worst of weather, but definitely an outdoor weather where it's not where the conditions are not as conducive to what they would like. They seem to be doing well with the screen game. The trickery in the backfield has been getting them the opportunities to get the ball to run the ball effectively, even though they don't have a dynamic runner of the ball with Raheem Mostert and Devin Achane out there. But they should be able to keep things close to the number. If Green Bay doesn't fumble the ball or have run into any problems from that perspective, they should be okay in terms of getting the win. But I think Miami is able to keep it close. So I'll take the Dolphins. No lock there, but I'll take the Dolphins in the over. All right. Friday night, Black Friday game, the second Black Friday game of the year. And if you ever needed a reason to stay outside and just keep on shopping, you've got
that's it.
Chiefs. You've got the Raiders and the Chiefs playing on TV. So no need to go home and watch this one because the Raiders are pretty much a dumpster fire, and the Chiefs are the Chiefs are the worst best team on the planet. They are 0-5 in their last 5 against the spread. They don't cover numbers, and Vegas is 2-3 against the spread. Their last 5. They don't get covers, so they're 2-9. They're 2-9 already. They're 2-9 in the season. Kansas City's 10-1.
Free money.
One doesn't cover the number, and one doesn't get the cover. So really, this is just, if you're a bettor, this is just a stay away game for me.
What?
This is a stay away game for me. But for the first of this, KC is a 12.5-point favorite at home against the Raiders. Ant, who you got?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Raiders. I don't make this. You're right. Come on now. We get the Kansas City Chiefs even got the reps in their back pocket. Come on now. I'm going to take the Chiefs.
Wow.
And I'm going to take the over in this one. This is going to be my second lock of the week. I'm a gambler.
Wow. You're watching this with a gambler's eye. Ace.
I'm going the other way with this one. I'm locking in the Raiders. I think that line is way too big. For whatever reason, the Raiders always play them super close. They actually beat them last year, which is insane, and the year before. Usually it's when they go to Vegas, but like the weather's going to
Ace,
be a little bit
who's the
colder.
quarterback?
They're going to be playing at 3:00. It doesn't matter who the quarterback is.
Who's the quarterback for the Raiders?
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, okay.
Aiden O'Connell, I think, is still hurt, so I think it's the mini shoe.
No, actually, it's the other way around. Minshew,
Yeah, it's a reverse.
out for the season. He broke his collarbone last week, so
O'Connell. Okay, so O'Connell's
it's time to change. It's time to change that bet.
No, O'Connell keeps them within 10 points, and they win. Their offense has been constipated. They're going to keep DeAndre Hopkins in check. Their best receivers are DeAndre Hopkins and Juju Smith-Schuster. Travis Kelce, they keep saying, is cooked. He's going to be distracted. He's got to get to his PJ on his private jet so he can have Thanksgiving dinner, get back in time for practice, all the good stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I'm going with the Raiders. Max Crosby's going to go berserk. He's going to have like.
For all you fantasy people out there, start the Chiefs defense. There's going to be a lot of picks.
Y'all called me crazy when I said the Cowboys would be good last week. Just saying.
We both picked the actually all 3 of us picked the Cowboys in that game against the Commanders because of the line, though. Most likely because of the line.
Yeah.
We picked them to win on the money line, but the line was 10.5.
Yeah, this is 12. Even more reason.
12.5. I too like the Raiders. The Chiefs do get back. They are getting back Isaiah Pacheco.
That's my first lock. That's my second lock of the week.
Oh, you're locking in the Raiders. Yeah, I got you in the lock. You're locking the Raiders. Isaiah Pacheco is
likely the reps.
I think the Chiefs win the game. I don't think that there's any chance that the Raiders win this game, but I think 12.5 is a bit much to give up. The Chiefs won by 3 points last week in Carolina against the Carolina team that had been playing better up until that point, but really had no business playing, keeping it that close against the Chiefs, even though Patrick Mahomes had a good game and they only won by 3. Like they've been, basically been treading water and playing very, 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 flying very close to the sun over the last few weeks. And it got them beat against Buffalo, but I think they can still coast and win this game. But I would expect to see a game that gets anywhere from 8 to 10 points. And I would look for that to be the number here. I am interested in seeing the new Travis Kelce, who is the current Brock Bowers, in Vegas playing against the Chiefs, playing against Kelce on the other side, and showing Kelce, what he used to look like. All right, Chargers at Falcons. Now we get into the Sunday's games. Chargers at Falcons. The Chargers are 1.5-point favorites, 1.5 or 2 points, depending on the line that you're looking at. Well, we're going to say for this 1.5-point favorites going to Atlanta. The Chargers are coming off of a Monday Night Football loss against the Baltimore Ravens. Very good game. They lost by a touchdown there. And the Falcons are coming off of their own debacle, their own loss against the Denver Broncos in an embarrassing fashion. They had their bye last week, but before that, the last time we saw them was they're getting blown out by the Denver Broncos, 38-6 on the road. Atlanta's returning home and looking like they might be turning the corner in terms of being a team that's gonna fold up by the end of the season. But we'll see what happens here. The Chargers are a really good team, 7-4, coming to Atlanta, who is 6-5. Ace, what do you got?
I'm taking Atlanta because they're home underdogs, and also J.K. Dobbins is hurt. So I'm not a big believer in Gus Edwards or who's the rookie? He's out of Michigan. I think that's why they drafted.
Blake Corum.
Blake Corum, my bad. Blake Corum. I'm not a big on Blake Corum. He was great in college, but this ain't college. And I think the fact that Atlanta's at home and they've had the bye to like get set and relax and like regroup, they're gonna get this win and they're gonna be 7-5. So give me the Falcons here.
Yeah, I will say this is the type of game that the Falcons win and everybody thinks that they're back, and then they play the following week and they get smoked. And this is the type of situation that happens to the Falcons pretty much all season. Ant, over to you.
Both teams lost the last time they played the respective other teams, but ever since a couple of weeks ago when the Falcons burned me, I want to keep doing the same exact thing because the Falcons only is basically like a broke clock. They only win once in the blue moon, so I'm going to go with the Chargers, and I'm going to take I'm going to go with the Chargers. I'm going to take the under in this one.
I think the score here, the over under here is 47.5. I think the score here, I think the number can get pretty high on this one. Both defenses are actually, right there in the middle of the pack, better than you would expect, but both offenses are. Neither offense has just shown the ability to be consistently explosive over the course of the season. Ace, I kind of agree with your sentiment there about J.K. Dobbins. He was looking like the engine of this offense, especially in the red zone. Him not being there seems like it's going to be a big problem for them. In addition to that, their receivers just haven't played up to par. The receivers are, Quentin Johnson and Josh Palmer they don't have that, that type of receiving threat.
They're bad.
Yeah, they just don't have that type of receiving threat that they used to have, when they had Keenan Allen there and even Mike Williams when he was, playing well.
They used to get Mike Williams back.
They don't have that player anymore. So I'm going to pick the Falcons here as well. I don't like picking them, but I'll pick them and I'll take the points because they're the home dog here. And again, like I said, this is the type of game that they come out and they win, and then next week they'll play a divisional game against a team that they should beat and get their asses kicked. So Falcons look like the good team to roll with here at home.
I learned my lesson. I don't like them at all. I don't pick them. I just stay away from them. There's no stats behind it.
I wouldn't pick this game. That's what I just said. I wouldn't pick this game, but either way. All right, Steelers at the Bengals. The Steelers are 2.5-point underdogs here at the Bengals. Steelers are 8-3. Bengals are 4-7. Steelers are coming off of a loss last week in the snow against the Cleveland Browns in Cleveland. That was a very interesting game. They were down a bunch of points and they came all the way back, got the tie. Took the lead. And then Cleveland came down and Jameis Winston beat them by running the ball into the end zone. Russell Wilson has come back to earth a little bit. with respect to just his overall numbers and statistics, even though the team had been winning up until then. But right now they're coming off of, their first loss in like 6 or 7 games. So they're coming into a situation playing against the Cincinnati Bengals team that can score, pretty damn well. They don't seem to be able to stop anybody. So this is the immovable force against the unstoppable object. I think that's the statement here. Cincinnati's offense versus Pittsburgh's defense. That's pretty much where the battle lies. And the number here is Cincinnati -5.5. Ace, who do you got? I'm sorry, Cincinnati -2.5. Ace, who you got?
I'm locking in Cincinnati. T. Higgins is back. They're going to roll. They are the better team. And also, most importantly, the high is going to be 34 degrees in Cincinnati. So it's going to be another very cold weather game, and they are a cold weather team, as is Pittsburgh, but taking Cincinnati on this one because they're at home. I think they're going to win this game. Joe Burrow has 27 touchdowns and 4 interceptions, and they have 4 wins. It's insane. You can have a quarterback play amazing and still lose, which is why wins and losses are a coaching stat, not a QB stat. For everybody out there paying attention, all the stat nerds, just want y'all to know. But I'm taking the Bengals because whenever T. Higgins has played, they play much, much better on offense, and they usually tend to. I think they figured out their running.
All right, and
Yeah, well, I agree with Ace and all those other things that he was basically saying. I'm just going to go the opposite way just because. And I'm going to take the Steelers on this one, not only because the Steelers actually got a little taste of snow, a little taste of the winter, so their bodies are a little bit hardened on this. I want to go with that. And I'm also going to go with Mike Tomlin on this one, better coach. You lost last week. You definitely don't want to have two losses in a row. I'm going to go with the Steelers in this one. I'm not going to make this a lot, but I'm going to take the Steelers and give me the under in this one. I know the Bengals can score a lot of points, but I think the Steelers can hold them down.
Yeah, I like the Steelers here as well. I just like getting the points here in an AFC East battle. I just typically don't like. I like to take points in these AFC East games just because.
AFC North, I think.
Sorry, AFC North. I apologize. AFC North games. I tend to like to take the points here, just because they tend to play very, very close to one another. If the Bengals are going to score, if for whatever reason, if the Bengals score 30, this will be the game where the Steelers score 31. And that's pretty much what winds up happening with these teams in this division. So where you can get some points, I'd say take them. So I'll take the Steelers. No lock though. And we'll go from here. Next game, Texans at the Jaguars. The Texans are 4.5-point favorites going to Jacksonville to play the Jaguars. Not sure if Trevor Lawrence did practice on Wednesday. Not sure if he is going to play in this game. But he's still nursing a shoulder injury, which would mean that Mac Jones would be back again. Jacksonville's coming off of their bye. They lost last week, or they lost 2 weeks ago in Detroit, in that game 52-6. Mac Jones is 0-2 as a starter this season. So if you're whatever you want to pick in with this game, I would say pay close attention to the Trevor Lawrence saga and his injury situation before you lay any money on this game, just because if he plays, this is a different Jaguars team. Houston, on the other hand, has been struggling to some degree. They lost last week against Tennessee Titans, and they've lost 3 of their last 4 games coming into this week. CJ Stroud has been looking pretty pedestrian in his second year overall. Not complete. I wouldn't say it's completely his fault. There's just been a lot of injuries. Offensive line play has taken a dip to some degree, and injuries to his receiving core. But needless to say, the Texans are still 7-5, still in the front, still leading the pack in this division, and the Jaguars are still 2-9, but hopefully getting their quarterback. So Jaguars 4.5-point underdogs at home hosting the Texans. Ace, who do you got?
I got the Texans. This is an easy one. I'm locking this one in. I think the Texans are going to beat the brakes off of them. He's still listed as injured. He did practice Monday and Wednesday, which is today, but does not say whether or not he will actually play. They may be playing a little bit close to the vest and see if he can go. But being as he's their franchise QB and they're paying him 50 something million a year, 55 million a year, they want to rush it, and it's already kind of a lost season. So if Doug Peterson's not going to be there, you kind of tank it out and you get that super high pick. I think they have the number 1 overall pick right now. So Travis Hunter, pack your bags. You're going to Jackson. Unfortunately.
Yeah, I like the Texans here as well. I'm locking this in too. This will be my second lock of the week. Well, first, if you don't count the Lions lock, the Lions everybody lock that Anthony made us go with before. So
Twisting arms.
I'm locking in the Texans here. I tend to agree, Ace, with your points here. I think the biggest thing, the only thing that you didn't mention is with Jacksonville, we also know that Tank Bigsby is likely out. And so they don't really have a running game if they don't have Tank Bigsby playing. He's out with a ankle injury. And we already know about Christian Kirk being out. So if Trevor Lawrence is out and it's the Mac Jones show with just Travis Etienne and surprisingly, promising rookie Brian Thomas Jr. out there, then you got to lean towards the Texans being able to hold strong here, get themselves to 8-5, and continue to to lock in their position as the best team in the AFC South. So I'll take the
Division
Texans
game, so
as well. What's
you're
that?
right. It's a division game, so they're going to win this to get ahead in the division, kind of shut it down.
Yeah, that's why I'm taking the Texans. I'm locking this in as well. And over to you.
Yeah, I'm gonna make this a lock myself. I'm gonna take the Texans as well. So all three of us is locking the same exact game. The Jaguars got a lot of pressure on them, especially with them losing, and there's quite a hover of rumors of Bill Belichick as this is one of his teams that he might be trying to go to. That's not good for somebody named Mac Jones. But I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna take the Texans, but it's kind of weird to even be backing CJ Stroud right now. But he's the better choice as far as the quarterback is concerned. It seemed like he lost his mojo ever since he was giving advice to Jaden Daniels. It's almost like he passes the quarterback spark over to him instead. But let's see what happens. Hopefully, he turns things around and this will be the get right game. So I'm going to take the Texans. I'm going to take I'm going to just take the under in this one. This is my third lock.
Yep, he got you. All right, Cardinals at Vikings. Vikings are on the road and they're favored by 3.5 points over the Cardinals. The over-under in this game is 46.5. This game, the Vikings, as we mentioned earlier, the Vikings won last week in a nail biter against the Chicago Bears in overtime. And the Arizona Cardinals, they lost to the Seattle Seahawks 16-6 in their divisional matchup. Both these teams are over 500. Arizona is sitting at 6-5. Minnesota is at 9-2. And these teams both seem to be, trying to get themselves solidified for a playoff push. The Cardinals looking to win the division, even though they're right now second in the division behind Seattle, and Minnesota looking to, keep pace with Detroit at the top of the NFC North. So, Ace, what are you thinking? Arizona hosting the Minnesota Vikings, getting 3.5 points.
Minnesota Vikings are at home, right?
No,
right.
This is Arizona's
no.
at home.
Oh,
no, Vikings
are
at
home
home.
with Arizona.
Vikings at home.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Yes. I'm sorry. It's Cardinals at Vikings. I apologize.
My bad. I'm taking Cardinals with the points. And I'm going to take the over. I think they're going to get right this game. That was a division game. That other opponent did really well. And the fact that the Bears were able to shut down the run game, our run defense is bad. The Cardinals were able to do the same to us. Trace McBride is playing amazing at tight end for them. He's the number 1 receiver. He has 0 TDs, 685 yards, 61 catches, 0 touchdowns. I think he's going to go off in this game against the Vikings, and they're going to be able to get it done. Kyler Murray is very quick, and he's playing really well. He's only thrown 4 picks all year. Hasn't thrown a lot of TDs. They've been getting a lot of rushing TDs, so I expect him to get some more. So give me the Cardinals. I'm going to lock that one. My fourth or third lock of the week.
Where you're locking this in?
I'm locking in the Cardinals. Give me the bird.
So this would be your 5th lock.
I got 6 for y'all today.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Ant, over to you.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Cardinals as well. I'm not going to lock this in. I'm going to take the over in this one. And the only reason I'm doing this is because of the news that we heard today. of Daniel Jones signing with the Vikings. I'm not saying that he's a bad bad luck charm or whatever like that. And I'm not going to say he's starting. He's definitely not going to be doing anything. But I think it's going to be as the meme says, emotional damage to Sam Darnold. That's what I just have that feeling. Don't hold me to it, but I'm just throwing that out there. We'll see what happens. This might be the straw that broke the camel's back, whatever you want to call it. But I'm gonna go with that. I want to let's see how this plays out. But I'm gonna take the Cardinals on this one. Remember, I said it a lot of times already. Usually, my picks go by the gambling version. There's no pseudoscience. There's no science to anything. It's usually some lucky ball somewhere, something that throws in the air, whatever. But a lot of times I get these things right, like a broke clock.
Hey, that's true. That's true. You're all right. I mean, I think we're all taking the Cardinals here. I'm not locking this in. I just like the Cardinals getting points. The Cardinals are 1, 2, 3. They're 3-0 in their last 3 games as underdogs. They were underdogs against the Chargers. They underdogs against the Dolphins in Miami, and they were underdogs against the Jets at home a couple of weeks ago, and they won all 3 of those games.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened.
They lost as favorites last week against the Seattle Seahawks in Seattle. So it seems like they like playing from that underdogs spot. And Ace mentioned Kyler Murray's been playing much better over the course of the season. He's not in the running of explosive plays, but he's not turning the ball over. And he's not putting added pressure on Arizona's defense to making them have to defend short fields, which is keeping the scores low, but it's also allowing them to win games close. The interesting thing is last week, and Ace, you didn't mention this, the Vikings, the Bears went all out in stopping Justin Jefferson, and he did next to nothing. But the Vikings
double teamed him the whole game.
Yeah, and the Vikings were still able to score 30 points, and they were able to get other guys involved, namely TJ Hawkinson and Jordan Addison. I think that continues to happen. I think that's the best version of Sam Darnold, is one that's actually getting the ball to all of his receivers and not just feeding Justin Jefferson the entire time. If that happens, then I think that there's an opportunity for the Vikings to blow this one out. But I don't think it happens. I don't think that happens in this game. Most of the money right now is going towards the Vikings with minus 3.5. But I like the number, especially if you can if you can tease it up to 4. So I like Arizona, and I will take the points, but no lock. All right, Colts at the Patriots. The Indianapolis Colts are giving 2.5 points to the Patriots on the road. This is another game that's just screaming for please, to be blacked out or something like that. The Patriots, they lost last week against Miami. They've lost 2 straight coming into this game. And although I will say that Drake May is looking and has looked pretty good as the quarterback since taking over the starting job, they haven't won. It hasn't led to wins for the Patriots. So they haven't continued to lose over the course. Yeah, the one win that they had was against you guys, against the Bears, right? Yeah,
correct. Yes.
In Chicago. So it hasn't led to much winning. Meanwhile, on the other side, Indianapolis fell back to earth a little bit after their big win against the Jets in New York. They lost last week against my Lions 24-6 and looked pretty bad doing it.
Because they faced a real NFL team. That's why.
Anthony Richardson was back to being his Anthony Richardson self, under 50% completion percentage, no touchdowns. And just the offense just looks very, very stagnant when he's back there. He doesn't seem to read things well, doesn't seem to play with anticipation, doesn't get the ball out to his players, and the opportunities, when he did have the opportunity to make some throws, he just wasn't able to do it. So this is an interesting one here, just because of those caveats there. So Ace, who you got?
I'm leaning towards taking Indianapolis, basically because the Pats' run defense is not really good. I think they have a shot to win this game. Anthony Richardson makes a couple of big mistakes. The Patriots have some good corners, especially Gonzalez, who was a top draft pick a couple years ago. But their safety play has been pretty bad they lost someone, since they lost homeboy to a personal issue, I call it, formerly of the Giants, Jabril Peppers. And I think that Indianapolis should win this game, so I'm going to pick Indianapolis to win by 3.
I
Just
forgot
sweep
he's
them
still
up.
in the league.
He's in his 8th year, I believe.
Yes,
He got
yes.
drafted by Cleveland. Yeah.
By Cleveland and Giants. Yeah, I think he was on the Giants for a little bit. And
Yep.
now he's
From North Jersey. Yeah.
I will take the Patriots here. Not locking this in. I don't like this as a lock, but I'll take the Patriots to cover the number. The one thing I did see against Indianapolis in that game last week is, again, Anthony Richardson just still has a lot of trouble targeting his receivers, and out in the elements in 30-degree weather at Gillette Stadium. I don't think it's going to get better. I think that they're going to try to lean heavily on his running ability and on the running of Jonathan Taylor. And if the Patriots can stop that, then the Colts are not going to score in this game. I think, to me, the probably the thing that most lands here is the under. That's probably where I would be putting my money in this game. But I like the Colts because they're getting points at home, and this seems to be a one-dimensional Colts offense that they can take advantage of. So I'll take the Patriots in the lock, though. Ant, over to you.
Yeah, I'm just going to take the Patriots too. I'm going to take the under. I don't believe in the Colts in their passing game, especially Gillette Stadium. I've seen it so many times how Gillette Stadium is around this time of year, and it's going to be a fun fest for the fans of Massachusetts. They get a nice win this week. I'm not going to make this a lot, but Patriots are the under.
All right. It is the return of Mr. Geno Smith.
Oh yeah, whip ass.
To New York, leading the Seattle Seahawks into New York to face the team that drafted him, the team that traded. Did they trade for him in the second round of that draft? Did they trade to get him to get that in the second round?
No, they had that.
No,
there.
They had a
He
pick.
was just there.
He was the second worst. He was the second quarterback taken in that draft.
Yes, he was.
After EJ Manuel.
So he was the best quarterback taken in that draft.
Clearly, he was the best. But he leads the Seahawks at 6-5 into New York against the Jets. The Jets are coming off of their bye. The last time we saw them was their loss to the Indianapolis Colts at home. But surprisingly, they didn't make any major changes in their bye week. No big things happened, except Joe Douglas got fired, which did happen last week. Joe Douglas, the GM, got fired, was relieved of his duties. And now the Jets get to see what they look like without a head coach and a GM in place to man things. Aaron Rodgers still seems like he wants to play football in 2025. Looks like he still wants to be a Jet in 2025, based off of comments that he recently made on the Pat McAfee show. And the Jets they're just kind of treading water here, 3-8. And still talking about potential, and Aaron Rodgers at least is still talking about the potential of running the table and getting themselves into the playoff picture to some degree. So, Ant, I'm going to roll with you here. The Seahawks are currently 4.5-point favorites against the Jets. I'm sorry, they started out at 4.5. Right now, it's trended down to 1.5 across most books. So the Jets are 1.5-point dogs here. At home against the Seahawks. Over under is 42.5. And what are you thinking?
First, I just want to also add in, not only Joe Douglas got fired because he was already on vacation since January, thanks to Woody taking over the whole damn thing, and that's the reason why Robert Saleh got fired without nobody consulting, anybody else. But also, just to let everybody know out there, I don't know if you heard about this, the 33rd team took over. As far as the consultants for Woody to actually look for a new GM and help out with the coaching searches and stuff like that as well. That's going to be Rick Spielman and former Vikings GM, and also Mike Tannenbaum, former Jets GM, helping him out in that. And I've already been looking at some news on that as well, because he came on his own Rick Spielman came on his own podcast talking about that, that he already has a list of people that he's going to add to the Jets list that he already interviewed last year for the Commander's job. So quite that's a good step in the right direction, even though it's kind of weird that, I know that they've been throwing this out there as an owner for 25 years. You don't even have your own department that actually does this for you. These type of connections to other leagues, other teams or whatever, but at least he has that type of connections. But as far as for this game is concerned, I'm actually going to throw it seems like a Homer fan thing, but it's not really. I'm actually going to go with the Jets.
Right.
Even though the weird stuff that's been happening, stuff like that. I know Ace is like, yeah, no shit. I'm picking the Jets. I'm a fan. No, I'm really going for that because the Jets actually had time to relax, recoup, or whatever. And I know I usually say that the Jets are really bad after bye weeks or whatever, which is very historically true. But I really feel that Aaron Rodgers has basically been playing hurt all the time and stuff like that. And the last time that he was actually playing when he was not hurt was the first time they played against the Patriots and they destroyed them. So I'm gonna go with this one. The Jets are at home. It's gonna be I guess it's gonna be a 1 o'clock game because we lost our permission rights to be at 4 o'clock and nighttime games. We lost that, because we suck. But even though this should be Geno's comeback game, whatever, I think the Jets is actually gonna pull us through. I'm gonna make this about 4 o'clock, I believe.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna make this my 4 o'clock, and I'm gonna take the under this one.
Okay,
Yeah.
Ace.
Keep this short. Geno Smith revenge game. They're gonna win by 15. 15 exactly. They're gonna get a safety. They're gonna miss
For me,
the
I thought
extra
you just want to say
Get it.
50.
No, 15. They're gonna get a touchdown, get another touchdown, then they're gonna get a safety to win by 15. Geno Smith revenge game. They're bringing it to the Jets. They're leading their division, which no one in August had the Seattle Seahawks winning that division, which is completely insane.
Yeah.
I'm taking the Seahawks.
Oh, before you go any further, I just wanted to throw this in there as well. The Jets are notorious for this. This also happened before the Zach Wilson, Trevor Lawrence draft that year that they were supposed. They're notorious for some strange reason to all of a sudden become good all of a sudden, start beating teams. We're still going to miss the playoffs, but they're going to still come all of a sudden start beating teams and stuff like that when they're not supposed to. Just to throw that out there.
Thank you for that, Ian. I'm still gonna lock in the Seahawks here. I think this is a good I think this is there's just too much turmoil in front of this. There's just too much turmoil with this team right now. There's too much going on around this team, too much swirling around this team. And because the number is so low, I think the Seahawks are the better team. They're the more talented. They're not the more talented team. They're just the better run team at this point. I think the Jets are extremely talented. They have talent up and down on both sides of the ball that we've known, we've seen multiple times. We know who Devontae Adams is. We know who Garrett Wilson is. We know Aaron Rodgers. We know Breece Hall. We know Sauce Gardner and Quinn Williams and Quincy and all these guys. Like we know them. Their names. We know who they are, but they're not playing like a team right now. The Seahawks are. The Seahawks have been playing like a team over the course of the season, and it's the reason why they are where they are. And Geno is just playing better quarterback right now than Aaron Rodgers at this point. So I'm going to go with the Seahawks, and I'm going to lock this in at 1.5. I think this is a good number. This started out at 4.5. It's trending downwards, likely because there's a lot of money coming in on the Jets. But I think at 1.5, I'm pretty confident that the Seahawks can get this by 3. Titans at the Commanders. This game is in Washington. The Titans, the line opened up at 1.5 and it remains at 1.5. Titans are the underdog here. Washington is coming off of 2 consecutive losses. 3 consecutive losses. They lost against Pittsburgh 2 weeks ago. Then they lost in Philly on primetime, and then they lost at home against Dallas. So they seem to be reeling at this point. Meanwhile, Tennessee had what's probably considered their best win of the season in Houston against the division-leading Texans, where Will Levis had played a really good game, really solid game, and had multiple scores, led the team in multiple scores, and was able to hold off the Texans, which is probably why this line is where it is. The Texans are 3-8 and probably have no business being such a low underdog in this game. But Washington's playing poor. They started out the season. They came in 3 weeks ago. They were 7-2, and now they're 7-5, and they've lost 3 of the last 5 against the spread. So Washington again, this line started out at Washington -6 earlier in the week. It is now gone all the way down to 5.5. So Commanders over Titans, 5.5 point favorites, over under 43.5 in this game. Ace, who you got?
Sorry, I'm on mute. I got the Commanders. I think they're going to crush. I think they're going to play really well. Not a good sign for them, though. Brian Robinson and their other running back, Austin Eckler, are both hurt. It's unlikely to play. Jaden Daniels is currently their leading rusher in terms of yards and touchdowns. So I'm picking Jaden Daniels to have a crazy game and for them to win by a touchdown. So give me the.
And
I'm gonna go the opposite way. Kind of trying to give the Titans a little bit of chance here. They kind of impressed me the last couple of weeks, so I'm just gonna take the Titans on this one. Like I keep saying, I'm a gambler in this one, but I'm not gonna lock this in. But I'm gonna take the Titans and I'm gonna take the under. I don't know if they're gonna win the game, but I'm gonna go with them.
Lock it in. I'm going to take the Commanders here as well. Ace, I'm going to lock this in. This has been an interesting. It's been an interesting few weeks for them, primarily because of injury, right? Like, Jaden Daniels has not been. He hasn't been healthy. He hasn't played healthy over the last few weeks. Since he hurt himself since he hurt his ribs in that game a few weeks back. He's played through it, but they haven't played well. And you're right. Both of their runners appear to be questionable right now. Brian Robinson with an ankle, Austin Eckler with concussion, and also their new acquisition, Marshawn Lattimore, hasn't played a game yet. He's been out with a hamstring ever since he got traded from the Saints to the Commanders. The hope is that he'll be able to play this week, and if he does, that's pretty good. And Brian Robinson did practice today. He did practice on Wednesday. So that's a good sign that he may be able to come back as well. So I'm going to go ahead and lock in the Commanders. I like them this week. I don't like them against most teams, but 5.5 points, I'm pretty good here. All right. Buccaneers at the Panthers. The Buccaneers are 5.5 point favorites going to Carolina to play against their division rival Panthers. This is another interesting one. The Tampa Bay is obviously trying to continue to, stay close to Atlanta and see if they can get themselves into the division race here. They probably won't be able to get into the playoffs otherwise. The fact that they've lost 2 games to Atlanta means that they're going to likely need to, finish with a better record than Atlanta in order to win that division. And so this is a game that they absolutely have to win. This is a must-win game for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That said, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 5.5 point favorites in Carolina. I mentioned earlier that Carolina's probably playing their best football of the year. They've won 2 of their last 3, and they probably should have, been able to. They definitely could have won that game against Kansas City last week at home. So hosting the Buccaneers
Bucks.
this week. This might be an interesting matchup for them. Bryce Young is playing better football, and they're looking much better as a team. But Tampa Bay, Carolina, Ace, who you got?
I got Carolina. I think they're going to win this one. They're getting too many points at home. I like home dogs, especially when I've seen them improve from week to week. Guy knows what he's doing, and he's earned the trust of his teammates. So I see less drop passes. I see Chuba Hubbard being able to run well in this game. And I just see a total team. Like, Tampa Bay is playing really well, and Baker's a really good quarterback, but I just have more faith in the whole overall offense of Carolina. And their defense as well is playing pretty good. So I'm going with the Cats.
Yeah, I tend to agree here. I think the Panthers are playing their best football right now. Bryce Young is playing really well. And like you said, the Buccaneers are a good football team. They got Mike Evans back, and they beat down on a bad Giants football team that was pretty much a sideshow going into that game with the Tommy Cutlet situation and all that stuff. Shout out to Baker Mayfield for putting up the Cutlet sign when he scored his rushing touchdown last week. That was actually pretty funny. So I'm going to rock with the Panthers here. I think they can cover the number. I don't think they win the game, but I definitely think they can cover the number. No lock here, and I'm going to take the under. Ant, over to you.
Yeah, no lock for me either. And I don't think the Panthers are going to cover this. I think last week was their Super Bowl, and they're going to come crashing down hard. So I'm just going to go with the Buccaneers. I'm going to take the under in this one.
All right. Rams at the Saints. The Rams are 2.5-point favorites going to New Orleans. The Saints are coming off of their bye week. They won 2 weeks ago against the Cleveland Browns at home in the Jameis Winston return game. They won that game pretty handily. Meanwhile, the Rams lost against the Philadelphia Eagles last week on Sunday Night Football, and by most standards, they were pretty much manhandled by that team. But now they go on the road. They're in New Orleans. Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, and the rest of the Rams. No major injuries to talk about here with respect to either team. Both teams look to be pretty healthy coming into this game, and the number right now is Rams -2.5. So, Ant, Rams at Saints. Who do you got?
I want to take the Saints in this one, and I want to go with the points on this one. I don't think this game's going to really go all out. The Saints are home, whatever. But yeah, I'm just gonna go with that. I'm not gonna lock anything. I'm just gonna take that.
All right, Ace.
Can't believe this is a 4 o'clock game. That's nuts. This is going to be one of the games of the week that people are going to have to watch at 4 p.m.
But you rather have that or my Jets?
I'd rather have the Jets.
Wow.
This should be interesting. I think New Orleans wins this game and they make the NFC South race interesting. So I'm going to take New Orleans. I agree with Ant. I like them at home getting points. Home team, dome team. The Rams are just going in the wrong direction. They keep losing. Jared Verse is playing great, but most of their Blake Corum is on. He's on the Rams. Yeah. Cameron Kitchens. Okay, so they got some pretty good draft picks that have been playing well all year, but they're a very young team on defense, and I just don't think they're ready yet. And they got blown out by the Eagles. They've been getting beat by a lot of good teams, but they haven't been able to beat good teams. The last good one they had, I honestly have to say, was against Seattle, and that was back at the beginning of November. So I'm taking the Saints. They're gonna roll in there. My final lock for me. If I haven't used them already.
Yes, that is your 6th lock.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm gonna run with the Saints here as well. I think that the 2.5 points trends pretty well. The Saints the last time we saw the Saints play, Taysom Hill had an amazing game. 3 touchdowns, 158 yards rushing, some catches for 50 yards receiving. The dude was all over the field.
Yeah.
He's 34. He's found the fountain of youth with this team. He's playing some great football at this point for them. So I think that overall, I think that they found some life. Maybe with the coaching change that they made, mid-season, getting rid of Dennis Allen and moving in their special teams coach as the head guy at this point. And they just seem to be playing with a little bit more life, a little bit more enthusiasm. Derek Carr's back. And so this is just the type of game, in my opinion, that the Saints should win this game against a Rams team that was playing a little bit above board weeks ago and seems to have been coming back down to earth. So I'm going to lock in the Saints here as well. I'll take the Saints and the over. All right, game of the week. Eagles at the Ravens. The Eagles have won 7 straight, and they're going into Baltimore. They are going into Baltimore, and they're sitting at 9-2 on the season. Saquon Barkley is making his bid for NFL MVP. And he's been basically covering and carrying every bit of this team, every bit of this offense over the course of the last few weeks. And meanwhile, the Baltimore Ravens are coming off of a victory of their own in the Hard Bowl on Monday Night Football against the Chargers on the road, where Lamar Jackson had a typical Lamar Jackson game, 2 touchdowns in the air, 1 touchdown on the ground, and Derrick Henry had over 140 yards rushing. These two teams, when they play the way that they're supposed to play, this is the type of game that we just don't even know what the outcome could potentially be. These two teams are very familiar with each other. They're literally right down the street from one another. in terms of the distance between these two these two cities.
Huh?
They're not far from each other at all. You can drive from Philly to Baltimore
No.
pretty in like an hour and a half, like
Yeah.
maybe even
Yeah.
less. maybe even less time than that, depending on which route you're taking. So yeah, they're pretty close to one another. And yeah, this is gonna be a really, I think it's gonna be a really fun game. Ravens are 3-point favorites, so they're getting the home 3 here. And the over under is 51 on this game. So Ace, Eagles at Ravens, who do you got?
Both of these running backs are averaging 6 yards a carry, which is not something we've seen since, oh, I don't know, Jim Brown days, Barry Sanders days in the regular season. Through like 200 carries, like 11 games. It's insane. I expect this game to be very quick because both of these teams are very pretty run heavy. Lamar is throwing darts, and if Philly tries to blitz them, which they do tend to do, I think they're going to lose. And that is why I'm picking Baltimore. Philadelphia is good. They're not great. That's why Baltimore is going to win this game. I think, unfortunately, it's going to end up being a push, but I'm taking Baltimore anyway. Baltimore probably wins this game by like 3. I don't expect a blowout here because Philadelphia's defense is bad, and their pass defense has been really, really good. Baltimore's been improving. Roquan Smith was out last game, maybe come back healthy. They were able to manage. They were playing overmatched team, but the Eagles' pass game, they've been without Devonta Smith, and they haven't really been using their tight end much, so they still have those options available. Expect Sirianni to make a bonehead call and then lose. Give me the Ravens.
Yeah, looks like Devontae Smith is still going to be out in this game as well. Looks like he won't be playing in that game either. Ant.
Even more real.
I don't have faith in the Ravens defense on this one, and Malik has already said it. Saquon Barkley's been playing at MVP level, but I noticed that on TV that a lot of these guys are still trying to push the quarterbacks for some strange reason, like it's a quarterback trophy participation award. But I'm gonna go with the Eagles in this one. I'm gonna make this my 5th lock of the week, and I'm gonna take the over on this one.
You know,
Um,
Josh Allen has to win. It's in the script.
I mean, I look, Lamar Jackson has played the best ball of almost the best ball of his career, and he's won two times already. So I mean, yeah, he's I think he's the odds-on favorite to win it for a 3rd time, honestly, with what he brings to the table and what he does for their offense. But I'm going with the Ravens, and I am locking this in. This is going to be my 4th lock. I'm sorry, my 5th lock of the week. Here, I just think the Ravens, you know, if they're not playing the Steelers or the Chiefs, or it's not the playoffs, I think the Ravens are pretty good against anybody. And they're able to, once they lean on the things that they know that got them there, and that's the running game and Derrick Henry, they still haven't been the team that's been able to be beaten yet, in my opinion. The times that we've seen them lose have been the times when they've lost against teams where they haven't done those 2 things and leaned heavily on their running game. I think they do that here, especially to keep the ball out of the hands of Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts in that offense. And the loss of Devontae Smith is still going to loom large. It's going to finally loom large over this team, over this Eagles offense that's played really, really well over the last 7 games, but is going up against a Baltimore Ravens defense that's just starting to play their best ball of the season. So I'm going to take the Ravens, and I'm locking this in.
Oh, so I'm taking the under on the Eagles thing because this is going to be an all running game.
Okay. Sunday Night Football, 49ers at the Bills. This is going to be a really, really cold game. Last I saw, temperatures were looking like they're going to be around the 20s, wind chills in the teens. I don't know if there's going to be any precipitation in this one, but expect this game to be one of the coldest games of the season thus far. Brock Purdy did not play last week in San Francisco's loss against the Green Bay Packers. Looks like he might be trending back for a return from his shoulder injury this week, although he has been limited in practice all week. We'll see if he actually winds up playing. Meanwhile, the Buffalo Bills are coming off of their bye after their biggest win, after most likely called their biggest win of the season against the Kansas City Chiefs. They've won 2, 4, 5, 6 in a row leading up until now, and are hosting a San Francisco team that's really, really banged up. Trent Williams is hurt. Nick Bosa is hurt. Brock Purdy, as I mentioned earlier. And, even though Christian McCaffrey is back, he's not looking yet like the Christian McCaffrey that all fantasy owners, fantasy managers have known and loved over the last few years. That said, the Bills are 6.5-point favorites hosting the 49ers Sunday Night Football. Ant, who you got?
I'm going to go with the Bills on this one. I'm going to make this my sixth lock of the week. And I'm going to take the under this one. This is, like you said, this is going to be a cold game. I think the Bills got a better team, got a coach team. They ready to go. Ace already hinted that Josh Allen's going to is basically up there for the MVP race. And the 49ers are basically injured. So it's 2-2 right there. Just call it right there. That's everything laid out on the table. Taking the Bills, taking the under. This is going to be my sixth lock of the week, and somebody's going to get run through the table and going on the outside. So Bills fans, look for that.
Hey,
All
yo.
right. Ace.
Bills, Bills, Bills. Bills, 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 Bills.
All right. And I'm taking the Bills as well, locking this one in. I think if Purdy comes back, it's an interesting game. But if he doesn't come back, this is probably going to get just about as ugly as that game that they had against San Francisco last week. I mean, against Green Bay last week.
Oh,
All right.
and there's a 51% chance of rain, lake of flex, snow, all that stuff. So the weather will be terrible.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
the Bills have scored 30 points in the past 5 games, so you can take the over.
Last but not least, the Browns at the Broncos. This is the Monday Night Football game. The Broncos are currently 5.5-point favorites. Over under is 41.5 in this game. The Browns are coming off of their their win over the Pittsburgh Steelers, as I mentioned last week in that snow game. Meanwhile, the Denver Broncos are coming off of 2 straight wins. The win against Atlanta a couple of weeks ago at home, and then they beat the brakes off of the Raiders a week ago, and looking like they are ready to pounce on a wild card berth as well. Broncos are 7-5, hosting the 3-8 Browns. Again, 5.5-point favorites. Not going to go too much in here, but Monday Night Football. And who do you got?
I'm going to go with the Broncos, and for my MVP pick of Bo Nix, not MVP, Rookie of the Year, Bo Nix. I think they're going to win this game. They're at home. You got to consider the Mile High thing and everything like that. Quite last week it was a good inspirational game for the Browns, or a good win for them, and definitely liked what's the name speech. But anyway, I kind of like this team. Quite, even though everybody was kind of sleeping on Bo Nix and now you kind of hate their coach. I'm not going to mention his name, but I'm going to take the Broncos. I'm going to take the under this one. I'm not going to be putting no locks. I already put him. It was my 6th lock already, so I don't care about those 7 locks.
Yep, I will agree with you here. No lock as well. I'm going to go with the Broncos covering. Just think they're playing really great football, and Bo Nix is, to your point, and playing like the best quarterback that came out of the draft this past April. It's close. I think it's definitely close. I think Daniels had a really, really great start of the season, and since he got hurt, he started to taper off. Caleb Williams had been up and down, but he's up at this point, and should definitely factor into that equation. But yeah, I think at the very least, just with the consistency that Bo Nix is showing over the last 3 weeks, probably 3 to 4 weeks, you'd probably roll with him at this point. And nobody would bat an eye to that. But I'll take the Broncos here as well. No lock from me. Ace.
Rookie of the Year is Jaden Daniels. It's hands down. He's been playing great for the first 2 months. He has his team in playoff position. They were leading their division. Denver will not be. They still may actually have a chance to win if Philly loses this game this week and Washington wins, because they'll both be tied with 8 wins. So it'll actually come down to the division games. But with all that being said, I am taking Cleveland. They're peaking at the right time. Jameis is making less mistakes. And every time that guy talks, it just makes me smile. He is insane in a good way. He's got, what do they call it on the Levitard show? That fun CT, which just made me laugh while I was listening to that in my car. So I'm going with Cleveland.
When he retires, he's either need to be on TV or he needs to be a head coach.
He's going to be a mega
church.
Mega church pastor.
Yeah,
he's going to be a mega church pastor in the Jacksonville or Birmingham area.
He's so blessed.
That's what he's going to be doing.
He's so blessed.
But they going to win. they're gonna win, and I hope it's another snow game. And they still got Myles Garrett. I don't know what this foot injury is, but apparently it's making them play better. So, and Nick Chubb is healthy now, so they have everything going for them. And the Broncos don't really have a run game. So,
Question for y'all before we move on and stuff like that, Malik. Next week, would y'all want to see start putting the odds in of who we are picking for MVP, Rookie of the Year, and all that stuff?
Do that. We can do that.
yeah, we could do that.
Take a look at that.
It's a next week thing.
All right, so something to look forward to for next week. All right, so we are done. All the week 13 picks are in. Just as a quick recap, Ace is locking in the Dolphins. Ace is locking in the Dolphins, the Raiders, the Bengals, the Texans, the Cardinals, and the Saints. And our ceremonial ceremonial Thanksgiving lock is the Bears, 9.5-point underdogs against the Lions. I am locking in the Packers, the Chiefs, the Texans. Ant is locking in the Packers, the Chiefs, the Texans, the Jets, the Eagles, and the Bills. And his ceremonial lock for Thanksgiving is the Lions over the Bears. And I am locking in the Texans, Seahawks, Commanders, Saints, Ravens, Bills. And my ceremonial lock is along with Anthony, is the Lions. So before we roll out of here, guys, give me a shout out and give me one thing that you're thankful for going into the holidays. Ace, I'll start with you.
I'm thankful that my son is healthy and happy, and he is out of the NICU for a while now. I think I made that shout out a little while ago to all the parents that were dealing with all that stuff. That's what I'm thankful and happy for. And shout out to Aaron Rodgers, because you are the fraud that I knew you were. I don't mean to pile on, but you've no hate. Listen, he showed up and showed down. He's brought down the Jets. The Jets didn't bring him down. Since they were better with the younger quarterback. Mans is washed, and I hope he does not, hope he leaves the Jets and he doesn't bring them down. He's made them into the New Jersey Jets and the New Jersey Giants because they're both losing teams, and I don't want them associated with my beautiful city. So shout out to New York City. And shout out to the Aaron Rodgers for being who I thought you were. You are who I thought you were. That's why Tom Brady's got 7 rings and you got 1 because you don't practice and you don't try hard. There it is. You got to show up and practice, and you practice how you play. And you were out doing dark retreats and going to see the pyramids and all this other stuff. But maybe you're preparing for another career in a couple of months in the new administration. So who knows? And shout out to college football. And I got 2 picks for you. Take Tennessee over Vanderbilt. The game's going to be very hotly contested. And you can also take Illinois over Northwestern, Penn State over Maryland, Notre Dame over USC. And if you really would just want to root for some chaos, I am root for Indiana and root for Washington and Texas A&M. I'm out.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't going to have no shout outs, but since Ace kind of brought that up, I want to give a shout out to Aaron Rodgers. At least you tried. Hopefully, things will pick up later on, and it seemed like you may be injured. Hopefully, you come back from that. I don't know what to say at this point, but see exactly what happens. If we wind up losing out, hopefully we draft a good quarterback. It doesn't have to be the top 2, and hopefully next year that we can rebuild on the new GM and coach. So shout outs to that. As far as what I'm thankful for, I'm just thankful. I'm just going to be thankful for everything I have in my life. I'm quite living good. I'm okay in an apartment. I'm okay with friends, family, and everything like that. I'm just thankful for that. That's what's mostly I'm thankful for. But that's all that's for me for this week. And I'm thankful for you guys who are listening out there in the world. Hopefully we like and share this and we get some more people.
Appreciate you too, man.
Appreciate you too, Ed. Thankful for you as well, man. I too just thankful for the opportunity to continue to do the show with you guys every week. I know it's with family situations, Ace mentioned having a baby, and everybody has things going on. The fact that we can all get together on a weekly basis and still do this and have a good time talking football. Now 4 years in is pretty impressive. And the fact that, over those 4 years, we've all been over 50% on our picks over the past 4 years is also very impressive. for us.
What did I do last week?
Oh, I'll give you guys last week's numbers really fast before we get out of here. But so I'm definitely thankful for that. And only one quick shout out to Fox Sports. It was a very the Daniel is I think Anthony just mentioned Daniel Jones just signed with Minnesota, and Fox Sports on First Things First used the Lizzo line and put out the headline "New Man on the Minnesota Vikings." I love that. I laughed hysterically here, and finally that line makes sense. That Lizzo line makes sense now, in regards to that. So shout out to Fox Sports for finding that line, putting that in there. And Daniel Jones is now the new man on the Minnesota Vikings. I'm going to listen to that Lizzo song again and laugh my ass off. So I'm going to enjoy it.
Shout out to Kendrick. GNX is fire.
It is. It's a fire album. Last week, Ace did ask for the totals. Last week, Ace did really well. I think we all did really well. Ace went 10-2. We picked 12 games. Ace went 10-2. He went 4-2 on best bets. Ant went 8-4. 2-2 and 4 on best bets. And I went 8-4 as well and went 3-3 on best bets. So we all had a pretty good week picking the games. And Ace and myself were over 50% on the best bets. So pretty good.
Y'all money.
LeBron has 0. That's why we didn't mention him. But we all had our Kanye Pepper, so we're good.
Pretty good showing last week. If you bet with us, hopefully you made some money. All right. We'll talk to you later. Enjoy your holidays, everybody, and we are out.
Hey.